This unit,
This is a horizontal vertical laser.
the horizontal, I think it's that one right here.
Yeah, we have a lot that looks very similar. So do you just do mainly flat work?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think I have this one right here.
Yep.
Yes, the LL300S.
Okay.
And one time I have an issue because usually you just hit the button, let it think about for a couple seconds.
That's
cell,
right.
Cell leveling.
Yep.
And then she started spinning.
Yep.
So then the problem that I have is like she spins and stops. She spins and stops.
Okay.
And then when I flip it to the side,
Yep.
she started going. But
Did you change the batteries out? Because a lot of times, okay, I was gonna say a lot of times when it has a regular spinning, first thing we do, fresh batteries. If you do fresh batteries, good quality batteries, so not cheaper batteries, but good quality batteries. But if you turn it and it spins better in one way than another, there may be something damaged on the inside, which is keeping it from staying self-leveled. So it may need to be looked at by service.
so
Because there's different things. When you turn it sideways, not everything works the same way if it's horizontal. So that's why I was gonna say, once you said it continues to run on its side, that tells me that there's probably something broken that's keeping it from running in the horizontal way.
It's crazy because I was the one only running it.
Okay.
I didn't hit it. No.
How old is
didn't
it?
Fall. They have like probably like 15 days.
Oh,
And
that
then-
may have been where'd you buy it at?
In Wisconsin.
So
what I have end up doing it is like buying a second unit.
what's under
and
warranty?
then-
So if you
and
only
then-
had it for that amount of time, didn't mean to interrupt.
Now I have two.
Oh, appreciate it.
Yes.
No, but I would take that first one back and see if it can get looked at under warranty. Because if you had it for that amount of time,
I sent it with the salesman.
Yeah.
Because I live in Michigan, so he comes.
okay,
But when I buy it, I went to the store. And Gator from Wisconsin.
not familiar with that
And
one,
then,
but
so they sent me the same unit, and I think they fixed it, but
it's doing the same thing again.
salesman, no,
Oh,
it's working fine, but the salesman never explained me what's wrong with it, so I thought you might give me some insight on what
but
was.
it's fixed now, though.
Yes.
Oh, okay. But it did get repaired. It sounds like.
Yes, I think they did
Okay.
something.
Well, it's a possibility. So, I mean, obviously we manufacture them and we do the best we can, but there's always the chance that there could be one that, even in the transportation from us to you, it got banged enough that it was okay for a while, and then it started acting up. So that's why I would say, with that 5-year warranty, basically at the end of the day, rule of thumb generally, obviously if it looks like it fell off the back of a truck or something like that, it's not going to be covered under warranty. Or like if the glass gets broken, more than likely it experienced a drop or a hit much greater than what's designed for. But outside of that, if it's within that 5-year warranty, I would have either send back to us, we're in Dayton, Ohio, send it back to us to have our service department look at it, or take it to a service center. So, because again, we guarantee it for normal stuff for 5 years. Now, physical abuse and clearly looks like it's abused, we're not going to cover it under warranty. But something like what you just said, it sounds like,
So I have.
hey, I would just have it looked at under warranty. But it sounds like that's what happened.
They did. And
So,
it
okay.
works like a charm, but
Perfect.
when I compare the two new units, because they are about the same,
Yeah.
the one that was malfunctioning and they sent back,
Yeah.
when I start both at the same time,
Yeah.
the one that they repair is kind of takes longer to start spinning. So just one
I don't know if I
was
would put that much concern on that, because the internal electronics is just, there's something about that one that may take a little bit longer. I wouldn't tell you that even 10 would all start spinning at the same time. So they all have their own little gyroscopes and stuff in there, but I would be more concerned if it didn't start spinning, or it started spinning and then stopped spinning, and then started up and then stopped. I would be so concerned on how long it took it to start spinning. Like you just said, well, this one started spinning faster than this one. I wouldn't necessarily say that's a bad thing or a good thing per se, but if it took forever, I mean, it should, like, right there. I've got one of mine that seems like it takes about 15 seconds before it starts spinning. Then I got another one that corrects itself really fast and it spins in like 5 seconds. But both are calibrated, they're both accurate. It just, for whatever reason, this one takes a little bit longer to self-adjust. So I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. It would be more of it starts, it stops, or it never starts spinning.
So the next question, in a construction site, when it rains and water fell in these lenses and dust, how you clean this sensor? Just don't even touch it because you end up with the scratches on these lenses? Or?
Oh, I got you. I would hit it with water first, and then a soft towel. I wouldn't try to wipe it off dry.
The glasses, the rock that you use to clean glasses?
Like that would work. Yeah, that would work. But actually, even if this got, no, you can touch it all you want. Even if this lens got scratched, it's not going to affect
the reading.
No, because you think about it, that laser is going to shoot that a scratch in that is not going to deflect that laser. The powerful of that laser, little scratches in the glass is not going to affect it.
It's not gonna.
No, unless it's cracked and there's true like breaks. But no, if it's dirty, I would hit it with water and just dry it off with a dry cloth or a soft cloth. I just would not wipe it off dry with like dust and dirt. I wouldn't try to knock it off without wetting it.
And my next question and the last is, this is for slopes too, right?
Manual slope.
Manual slope.
And what I mean by that is, okay, I'll try to, let me explain it real quick. So this one, once it starts spinning, I can see it moving, so it's trying to correct. There you go. So green, I'm self-leveled, I'm spinning, I'm self-leveled. If I hit the button once, I have it in manual mode, which means it will continue to spin regardless of how I move the laser. So it's out of self-leveling. So if I move it, if I
just tilting red like that,
it's in a sense, almost think about it, it's just locked in place.
Okay.
It locked that unit, it locked it. So I can tilt it any which way I want and it'll continue to spin. I can even put it on another surface, but if this is red, it just means it's spinning and it's putting out a flat plane of light. Red tells me it's not self-leveling, it's just spinning. So that's what gets a lot of people in trouble.
Could be in an angle. Or...
Exactly. So I started with self-leveling, but let's say, okay, it's starting right here. When it's in manual mode now, I can press and hold the button. I can feel it moving. Okay, there you go. Now I'm putting a manual, see how it's moved up about an inch now?
Yeah.
So now I have manually sloped that laser. Whereas if you can go over to a grade laser and I can actually put in a slope and it will not only take it to that slope, but will self-level to that slope. So that what I'm saying is it will fight and continue to make that slope what it is. Whereas now it's accurate, but it's not trying to correct itself. It's just locked in place. And so a little bit of vibration, it's not going to try to correct itself. Whereas in a grade laser, it tries to correct itself. So yeah.
I could use, for example, I'm trying to make an example of a slope. Let's say you start hitting down and she will go down, right?
Yep.
So let's say I go mark, let's say somewhere in here.
Okay.
And then I need 2 inches of slope, so I just mark 2 inches up and hit my other corner. And then I have 2 inches in however many feet.
You could do that.
And that's the way to use it for
You
slopes?
could do it for manual slope, yeah. I just want to, instead of automatic slope and manual slope, this one can only do manual. So you are just manually adjusting it. Whereas we have other lasers where you can put in the slope percentage and it will automatically change it.
Pretty much watch when using red is in manual mode.
Exactly.
And that's when...
Yeah. And so now I can change it back to green, and you can watch. It's moving. It's actually starting to move. It did a lot of its moving real fast, but now it's moving. And once it gets self-level, because it's green, it's trying to self-level.
Yeah.
There you go. Now I'm back to self-level.
So tilting is adjusting and green solid is level.
It's self-leveling, yeah.
And if I bump this unit, she will go back to this same starting point.
Exactly.
Or if this, let's say, start creeping over time.
If it stays, okay, so this laser will try to self-level within plus or minus 5 degrees. If it gets beyond 5 degrees, it will not self-level and it will stop spinning. So it's kind of like a safety feature. If I get beyond the range that it can self-level, it'll stop. And actually, not only will it stop, both of these lights will flash and you'll hear it beeping at you as well.
So can I say then it locks the height? Because if it start losing the height because of these clamps are loose, then
that's tricky to say that, because if how do I describe that? Yes and no, because in theory, if this slid a little bit but still within 5 degrees,
she will run.
She would run, but the height could still be down a little bit, just a slight amount. So it's always key to take a height. We call it height of instrument. So I would measure over a point, like a grade stake or something that you know is a set point that's not going to move. It could be a piece of concrete with spray paint, you know? Okay, I'm setting it over that, and I'm measuring from the bottom to that. And so throughout the day, it shouldn't change, but it wouldn't be bad to come back and say, okay, that measurement is still 3 feet 6 inches.
Still true.
That's just a good rule of thumb to make sure that nothing's changed immensely. Because again, if I tilt, if your tripod slid this way a little bit, it still could be within 5 degrees, but I could in theory have moved maybe down a little bit. So I don't want to say it's for keeping you at the same height. It's keeping it
within those
level.
Within those 5 degrees of tolerance.
Yes.
And then I noticed that this unit comes with another receiver.
Yep.
Because access some more settings in this.
A couple more. Yeah. So
which like what I think I have this one. What I am missing by not having it, you have the other receiver.
Yeah, it would be here.
I think it might be that one or the other. Yeah. So what I am missing by not having this guy?
Sure. With the 300S, it has the technology in here. There's a radio and a radio. This receiver doesn't have a radio in it. The only thing that you're missing, and it's a feature that not many people...
What do you mean by a radio?
A radio? Yeah. Radio communication frequency?
Okay.
So this one and this one, you pair them up, and therefore they're tied to one another on the same radio frequency. And by having them tied by a radio frequency, I can do one thing that's called fingerprinting. And what fingerprinting is that this on a job site, say on a job site I have more than this laser, I have 2 or 3 other lasers. If I fingerprint this laser to this receiver will only capture this laser beam. So it won't get a false reading from another laser someplace else.
Gotcha.
That technology, more times than not, there's not multiple, but there are situations. So we said, oh, let's build something that if there was that case, you could do that. But based on this laser and this, very few people ever used it.
So it won't interfere with another laser from another contractor?
Exactly, yeah. So say you had this one set at this height and a contractor 500 feet away had one just set close, but say it's still 3 inches more.
I won't take his reading.
Exactly, you won't be taking his reading because it's not gonna, they're always talking to each other and says, I'm here. Yep, that's me. No, that's not me.
That's my brother and that's my cousin kind of thing.
There you go.
Okay.
So I would say you're not missing a lot.
Okay.
Because at this level of laser, usually it's a small guy, small operation, not another contractor on site. And the fact that this is a couple $100 more than this one, it just made more sense for us to partner with this one, make it a little bit more cost effective, because it's really, this is almost an overkill for this laser, but this is perfect for that laser and that laser and that laser and that laser.
Because this is the
other things
this is top of the line.
Technically the top of the line is that one over there.
With that one, you can do.
But yeah, but this receiver can do so many more things with these other lasers, and it only can do really one extra thing with that laser. So that's kind of why we moved it away. But I can do grade match, I can do plane lock, I can do so many different functions because of the radio with that one, or this one, or that one.
And that one top of the line was the biggest thing then, or was the difference?
Oh,
Big difference.
distance. The stability of the laser beam, the human eye can't see it, but the receiver will pick it up. If you were to magnify that beam, it would actually be going like this. You couldn't see it, but it would actually be dancing a little bit. You go on that laser, and if you were to magnify it,
Steady.
it doesn't move at all. That's a $9,000 laser. That's a $1,000 laser, $1,200 laser. So there's a lot more built into that one to be able to keep it steady, adjust the temperature changes more quickly to keep it steady.
What kind of contractor would buy that unit?
Someone that's pouring a very large piece of concrete and wants to make sure that it's flat the whole way. Possibly an Amazon warehouse, a Walmart store, anything big.
What's the distance? This one, how many feet of distance?
That's the unique thing, is that one can go 2,600 feet in diameter, so 1,300 feet in any direction. That one goes only 400 feet farther, so that goes 3,000 feet, so only 1,500 feet. But the stability of that laser at 1,500 feet, it's why it's the top of the line versus the stability of that laser at 1,300 feet. So it's not a big difference, but so a guy, agriculture, they would use that. Say you're working and you're doing a very large field, say a rice field, say down in the Delta, like down in Arkansas, Louisiana, where they grow rice. They want that rice field to be a sheet of glass, very flat, because they want the water to be flat when they're growing the rice. They'll use that because they can do a much larger field and keep it much flatter over that distance than even something like that. Also, there's a radio that goes a longer distance. That's a minor thing, but the radio, you can change the radio at a longer distance than you can with that. Well, actually, there's
You say
1,300 feet.
1,300 feet. What's the tolerance on
Well, the accuracy, so
accuracy? Plus or minus?
we always we always state accuracies at 100 feet. So that's a 1/16 of an inch at 100 feet. That also is 1/16 of an inch at 100 feet. But because of the stability of that laser, I would say that 1/16 of an inch carries farther in the accuracy than that would. I'm not saying it gets huge, but that one at 1,300 feet may go from a 1/16 of an inch accuracy up to an 1/8 of an inch accuracy, whereas that one has a much better chance of staying at a 1/16.
So you say 1/16 of an inch every 100 feet?
Well, we stop the first 100. Any laser company they don't state an accuracy beyond 100 feet, but they'll say, as a rule of thumb, at 100 feet, that is calibrated to be a 1/16 of an inch, plus or minus a 1/16 of an inch.
So it's not such thing as timing that 16 of an inch 13 times, and then you end up with like almost like 13 16s or something.
Yes and no. Like kinda. No, it's not really that bad, because you never really get
That big of
timing. Yeah, but remember I kind of talked about that bouncing. So as that one goes out, at 100 feet, I'm pretty good at a 16. But because that beam is bouncing, I'm not saying it's magnifying it by 13 times, but if I was out at 1,300 feet, that thing would be moving on this receiver a little bit more than that one would be. So it keeps that laser beam stable. So the accuracy is not going to be exactly a 16th at 1,000 feet, but that one's going to be a lot closer to it than the other ones.
All right.
But usually when you're going out that far, an application to be a 16th of an inch at 1,000 feet, I don't know. You know, it's one of those things. It's like,
It's one of those
what
things.
would that be?
So,
now, in closer distances, yes, but
do you guys believe that Spectra lasers are top of the line?
oh, of course,
It's not.
of course. We invented the industry.
You guys
and we
did.
only do lasers.
You guys are the best.
Yeah.
And remind me of your name,
My name is Kevin Barco.
Kevin Barco. Thanks
No
for
problem.
schooling us on lasers.
Yeah, it's been a
I
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Anytime.